name's Ashley Zamek from Hort Innovation. I'm sad I can't be there today, but I'm happy I get to talk to you about one of our programs. First off, though, I thought I'd introduce who Hort Innovation is in case you don't know. So we're the Research Development Corporation for the horticultural industries in Australia. We represent 37 different industries, and that ranges from almonds and avocados, which are quite large, to smaller industries such as nashi pear and custard apple, which are quite small. We tend to invest on the issues that affect their farm gate profitability. And that can be things like biosecurity, breeding, trade, and export. But we are also interested in those cross-sectoral issues such as pollination. So we have a pollination fund, and that aims to invest on trying to improve the management of European honeybees for pollination, optimizing crop pollination, and looking at alternative mechanisms of pollination that can be both biological or mechanical. So the real aim of this fund is to ensure we have that pollination security as we move into the future. So the program I'm here to talk to you today is about improving pollination in protected cropping environments. It has a really long name, but it involves multiple partners working together to achieve this outcome. So our partners are listed below, such as University of Tasmania, University of New England, Adelaide, PFR, and New South Wales DPI. But they themselves have a lot of industry partners such as Reed Fruits, Hanshin Orchards, Costa, Apple and Pear Growers Australia. So it's quite a large consortium working together. So when we look at protected cropping in Australia, it's really an industry on the rise. So what's really driving the interest of growers in protected cropping is climate variability and the impact that's having on crops grown and the customer demand for high quality produce all year round. So protected cropping offers a solution to these issues and enables growers to meet those contracts they need to meet and also maintain quality. Historically, we've seen a lot of investment in this area from the berry and tomato industries, but right now there's an increase in eggplants, capsicums, cucumbers, herbs, and leafy veg. There's also a lot of experimental work happening in terms of temperate and tropical trees, high density plantings, dwarf rootstock, all about controlling the environment a bit more and maintaining the quality and output. So what's the issue? Well, protected cropping has a lot of benefits. So for the apple industry in particular, netting is being used quite frequently. Netting reduces sunburn and solar radiation issues. It prevents hail damage. So there's a lot of hail events. You might have seen Hailstorm Heroes, which is a marketing campaign to try and overcome some of the issues that were caused. And bird damage. Bird damage is actually becoming quite a big issue for the industry. It costs nearly $300 million annually. And the birds themselves are Australian natives, so they're really hard to control. Netting offers an option to control them. When you look at polytunnels, they represent an opportunity to maintain high temperature, high humidity, which works well for vegetative growth. It also stops things like cold snaps or extreme weather events. And for glasshouses, well, they offer complete control of everything, which is quite desirable. But the things that make growing environments so great, such as these control mechanisms, also can mean that other issues such as pollination are being affected. So when we are increasing temperatures and humidity, we're limiting floral resources, we're limiting light and airflow, we are going to have an impact on pollination. Right now, that's been based on a lot of anecdotal evidence from beekeepers. And so this project aims to collect data and really show if and what that effect looks like. So this project will be looking at multiple things. So we'll be manipulating hive dynamics to understand how the bees are flying, how the bees are acting, and if it's affecting their health. We'll also be looking at what we can do to increase productivity in these environments and what we can do to improve the situation. And we're also looking at alternate options for some industries, such as mechanical pollination. So some initial results, which are actually quite interesting, are the effect of these environments on insect abundance. A lot of crops depend on multiple visits by multiple insects. And as we can see here, the difference between the closed and open environments of netting has affected insect abundance. So obviously the physical barrier or even the illusion of a physical barrier is affecting insect movement into the crop. So for crops such as raspberries that rely on multiple visits to get a high value product, When we look on the other graph, we're seeing that the actual visits per 50 minutes is quite different in a netting environment. So not only have these environments affected the abundance of insects, it's actually affected how those insects are acting in those environments. So one of the options we're looking at is how we can increase the activity and abundance of insects in these environments. So one option has been actually opening the top and sides netting in the orchards. And it was a really quick and easy way to show that as you increase airflow and light and temperature, you are getting an increase in insect abundance and movement. Is this a viable option? That's something we'll be looking at the costs of that, because obviously that requires manpower as well as perhaps flexibility in how those systems are set up. When looking at how bees are moving under nets, we used dye and color coding for the hives. So as you can see here, there are hives placed deeper inside the orchard of the netted orchards, and there's hives placed outside. And as you can see in the pink and orange, although those bees have moved around, they don't move a great distance. And if you actually compare that to the blue, yellow, and green, those outside bees don't really want to go inside the netted environment. So most times that a beekeeper comes to an orchard that's netted, they tend to place the hives around. This is because it's easier to access and obviously is less labor intensive. But it might be in opposition of having great pollination occur. So possible options might be in the future is that increasing hive per hectare number due to limited flight and movement of bees. It also might mean moving hives across the orchard or placing it in multiple avenues and venues. This could increase costs. So it's something to consider that looking at maintaining pollination viability might mean an increase in costs in those areas. When looking at the effect of these environments on bee health as well, we need to consider if we are putting bees under and getting a less viable hive coming out. So we did this via colony counts. So hives were placed under the netted orchards in the morning of the flowering event and then were counted. And then when they were taken out at the end, they were counted. So what we did find that they were losing an average of 1.4 frames per hive over the course of the flowering event. And that's basically an 11% decrease in bees. So we are seeing that netted environments are decreasing the health of the hive. And what does this mean for growers and apiarists? Something else that's really interesting is that we're looking at how the shape of the flowers are affecting the pollination viability. So blueberries, which is a really big crop in Australia, they're getting to be quite different from their wild cousins. So in the wild, the flowers tend to be a bit bigger, so bees are able to get inside, move around, get covered in pollen and leave. But now the flowers could be getting smaller in shape. For blueberries in particular, honeybees tend to focus on the flower for nectar, not a pollen resource. And so we really need to be able to help the bees get to the nectar and obviously get covered in pollen. On the flip side, if bees are only using the blueberry flowers for nectar, they need to have a pollen resource to maintain health. So it may be an issue moving forward that we need to provide pollen resources for honeybees in blueberry pollination events. Another thing we're looking at is mechanical pollination. This is really attractive to seed industries such as carrot. We're working on collecting pollen, ensuring its viability through storage and its applicability of being used again. So they'll be using a lot of technologies, vacuum as well as mechanical means, and it's really to try and understand how we can boost pollination for these high value crops. Before I go, I really just wanted to touch on a really great opportunity we have out to market at the moment. We're looking for new projects and new ideas in the pest and disease space for honeybees. We're looking for anything from different sectors, different industries, from blue sky to technology ready and just need some more funding to get to that last commercial stage. So I really want to encourage you to share this idea with your networks. You can see more on our website or by contacting me, but we're really excited to reinvigorate this field and get some new ideas to help the industry. So that's all I had. I'm sorry I can't be there, but please reach out. I'm always happy to chat about what we're doing, other projects, as well as this one in particular. So thank you for your time.